Get out of my sight right now! I want you removed from this event!
Get out of that seat. You are not one of us. You never will be. The woman's words cut through the party like a blade, loud enough to turn heads and freeze smiles. Her husband chuckled beside her, already settling into the chair like it was his birthright. The man they were talking to just stood there, calm, dark eyes steady, breathing slow. He did not argue, did not beg, simply looked at the seat, then at the people watching and let the silence speak first. The party sat. High above the city, on a glass rooftop wrapped in gold light. Vantacor's launch night was meant to feel like victory. Crystal glasses, soft music, expensive perfume, and faces trained to look important. Every corner held laughter that sounded a little forced, because this was the kind of room where everyone was measuring everyone else. The front row had 3 VIP seats facing the stage, each with a small card. Investors, reserved, untouchable. Marcus Reed arrived early, alone, in a plain dark suit that fit him like quiet confidence. No loud watch, no flashy chain, no need to show proof. He carried a simple gift bag for the founders and an invitation folded in his pocket. He had placed himself in the third investor seat and let his shoulders relax for a rare moment. He watched the skyline through the window and felt peace settle in his chest. Peace never lasted long in rooms that thought they knew who belonged. Then, Dana and Trevor Hale walked in. They moved fast and proud, like people who believed the room existed for them. Dana spotted Marcus in the front row and narrowed her eyes. Trevor lifted the reserved card in front of Marcus, flipped it over like trash and smirked. Dana dropped her clutch on the seat beside him, claiming the space without even asking. She spoke with that easy cruelty some people learn when they've never had to pay for it. She said those seats were for real partners. She said he must be. Staff, she said he should stand in the back. People around them heard every word. Some stiffened. Some looked away like the floor was suddenly fascinating. A few wanted to step in, but their courage stayed trapped in their throats. Silence formed a circle, and in that circle, Dana grew bolder. Trevor smiled wider. They had done this before. Push a man, watch him bend, then feel powerful for a minute. Marcus stood slowly, not because he was small, because he refused to make the party uglier than it already was. He stepped aside and let them take the chair. The couple sat down, satisfied, already turning their bodies toward the stage as if the story was over. They did not notice how Marcus kept his chin level. They did not see the steel behind his quiet. Marcus had lived a lifetime inside moments like this. As a kid, he had watched his mother return home after night shifts, tired hands smelling like soap and factory air. She braided his hair at the kitchen table and told him a truth that built his spine. The world will try to shrink you, so you must stay tall inside. He remembered school days where teachers assumed he wasn't smart enough for advanced classes. He remembered store clerks trailing him like he was about to steal. He remembered learning to swallow anger so it did not swallow him first. He worked. Through college in rooms where he was the only black student most days. He lived on cold coffee, late buses, and the quiet pressure of having no safety net. When people talked around him instead of to him, he took notes anyway. When professors suggested he was lucky to be there, he outscored everyone. He graduated top of his class, built a career in finance, then built his own investment group when the old doors stayed half closed. His success was not loud. It was solid, patient, earned. 2 years earlier, he had met Vantacor's CEO, Leela Chen, in a tiny co-working space that smelled of burnt espresso and fresh paint. She had pitched with shaking hands but clear eyes. Her idea was sharp, her heart honest. Marcus saw something real in her. He wrote the first major check that kept Vantacor alive. He asked for progress, not praise. He never posted about it. He never needed credit to feel complete. Tonight was his first public appearance at a Vantacor event. He had come to support the team, to watch them step into their light. He did not expect to be tested at the door of their celebration, but when the test arrived, he met it the way he always had. With control, the lights dimmed. The crowd turned toward the stage. Lila walked out smiling, the founder's glow real on her face, voice warm and proud. She spoke about the hard road, the late nights, the risks, the people who believed early when the idea was still fragile. Applause rose in the right places, polite and smooth, like everyone knew the script. Then Lila said she wanted to honor the first believers. She asked the investors to stand. 2 people in the front row stood right away and waved. The crowd clapped. Cameras lifted. Lila smiled at them, then looked to the 3rd investor seat. Her smile faltered. Confusion crossed her face like a shadow. She scanned the front row again, searching, then leaned toward the mic with a small frown. She asked where Marcus Reed was sitting. The name hit the room and snapped it awake. Whispers rushed through the crowd, heads turned, phones shifted. Dana and Trevor froze in their seats like statues, learning too late they were in the wrong museum. Marcus lifted one hand from the side of the row, not waving, just letting the truth find daylight. Lila's face changed instantly. Relief, respect, and something like gratitude poured over her. She stepped down off the stage and walked straight to him, cutting through the crowd without hesitation. People stepped aside like water. She reached Marcus and held his hand with both of hers. She thanked him in front of everyone for believing. First, she said Vantacore would not exist without him. She said he was not just an investor, he was the foundation. Marcus nodded once, calm as ever. His silence did not shrink him, filled the room. Lila turned toward the front row. Her eyes landed on Dana and Trevor. She did not shout. She did not need to. Disappointment sat in her voice like a weight. She asked who was sitting in Mr. Reed's reserved seat. Every face in the room turned to the couple at the same time. Air grew tight. Dana's mouth opened, then closed. Shh. Trevor stuttered about a misunderstanding, about not knowing. But the room had already seen what happened. Their excuses fell flat before they even rose. Leela asked them to stand and return the seat. Her tone was quiet, final, and sharp. They stood. The walk out of that row felt longer than it was. Dana's eyes dropped to the floor. Trevor's shoulders curled inward. Their confidence had been a costume, and it tore in public. People watched without cheering, because the lesson did not need cheering. It needed to be felt. Marcus sat in his chair again, placing the gift bag on his lap. He did not smile at their shame. He did not rub it in. He simply existed in full dignity. And that was enough to make the whole room rethink what it had just witnessed. Applause rose slowly, then stronger, not from politeness, but from respect waking up. The kind of respect that feels clean once it finally shows up. Some people clapped with wet eyes. Some clapped with red faces. Some clapped because they realized silence can become complicity, and they didn't want to be that person again. Lila returned to the stage and said something that stayed in everyone's chest. Never mistake quiet for weak. Never confuse presence with permission. The people who build the future are not always the loudest in the room. The party went on, but the air was different now. Softer, more honest. Conversations changed tone. People approached Marcus with real respect, not curiosity, not pity. And in the back of the room, Dana and Trevor finally understood a truth they had dodged their whole lives. Cruelty feels like power until the moment it meets the truth. Marcus did not need revenge. He had already won the only victory that mattered. He held his self-worth steady when the room tried to take it. His silence was never defeat. It was control. It was honor. And when the truth arrived, it arrived so loud that every jaw dropped without a single shout.